Brady there, Derek Jeter, Charles Woodson, Rob Gronkowski. It was cool to see Matt Patricia, Tom Brady, and Rob Gronkowski all sort of converge. And Josh Boyer, who's a part of our staff, they all are in New England together. So to see them come together and have their moment. And then you have both teams. Obviously, Sharon Moore is the star of Michigan, and then Ryan Day with us. And then you had Desmond Howard and Kirk Herbstreit and his whole family. And I was sitting there kicking with Kirk Herbstreit and his kids for a while. And then me and Eddie George, prior to the game, we had a chance to sit and chat and talk it up. But my highlight of the day was my man John Lynch. You know what I'm saying? John Lynch is the general manager for the Broncos. And when I was with the Broncos, they used to try to pair me and have me watch John Lynch, right? so John Lynch saw degenerate Maurice Claret. And so before the game, we were laughing about that. Welcome to Start with the Facts. Happy Monday.
Come on, man. Hey, man.
Happy Monday.
Come on, man.
Hey, y'all see I done picked up a new brim, picked up a new hat. This is called Victory Monday, Victory Monday. So how you doing, Will?
I'm real sour this morning, man.
We'll start with did you watch the game?
Yes, I watched the game.
You did?
Man.
Okay, good.
I watched the game. I sure did.
Dan,
Disappointed.
What did you think of Ohio State beating the shit out of Michigan?
Is that what we calling it?
Beating the shit out of.
Crazy. What y'all have, a 3-score win? Y'all beat us by 3?
I don't know. Do the math. I want to see you.
Well, it was what we had.
Some football math.
No, I was sick about it, man. I don't even want to record it. I don't want to go to math. I don't want to do nothing, man.
How
I'm
sick were you?
about it, man.
How sick?
I went home and I went to sleep. That's how sick I am.
Well, let me ask you this: were you sick of the game, or were you sick because you knew you had to come here and hear about it?
Both. I'm thinking about it through the week, and I'm like, man, I got to see these guys on Monday, man.
You see, I even saved my other shirt for you. So shout out to DJ. Thank you. Look, you know what, DJ? You must have been a psychic because you had the pregame Dime Life button up. And then this is the Victory Dime Life button up. But these two shirts are only for us versus Michigan. So
my gosh.
I know you're not here today, DJ, so we appreciate you. And I saved this hat just so it can match your shirt. So thank you, brother. I couldn't put on the shorts, right? So because we're in Ohio, but we appreciate you. Hopefully you get well soon. We'll see you tomorrow. But back to you, Will.
Yeah, man. I'm in my sorrow gear today, man. You see
that's what hood. All black.
with the speck of blue, with the speck of navy. To show y'all that I still rock with the squad. You know what I'm saying?
Why didn't you follow through on the bet? So
we didn't have
our bet was. Hey, so I was supposed to be called your Lord and Savior.
No, I would never make that bet.
Listen to me, your Royal Highness, or your Excellency.
There you go.
And Will reneged on his bet.
That's
man.
crazy. That's nuts, Reese. I would never make that bet.
So which one do you choose?
I don't know, man.
Lord and Savior?
Never that. never that. Lord, forgive him. I would never call you. That's nuts.
Your Highness, you got to do something.
What you mean? We don't
Your Highness, Your Excellency.
Look, aside from the game, and I'm going to be a little bit more serious on this, aside from the game, it was very cool to see all the people that came to the game. You had everybody there from Tom Brady. Obviously, he's a Michigan alum. He was there. You had Rob Gronkowski. He was there. Derek Jeter, Charles Woodson, Eddie George. Obviously, both staffs and everything like that. A ton of former players who are a lot less notable to them, but it was some of everybody at the game. In regards to like a whole super duper cool college football environment, I tell you one thing that was super cool, and I was telling Brian about it this morning as we were rolling up from the whole team hotel to the stadium. I'm telling you, probably for at least 2 miles, and it was the funniest shit in the world. You had every Michigan fan doing this at the bus. And I was saying to myself, yo, this is what college football is all about. This is what rivalry is all about. And I know sometimes when we talk shit about, how we're so many players are so super cool with each other and like that has been lost. Like that's the stuff that you lose when everybody's friendly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I did kind of enjoy just the signs, fuck you, Ohio State. When you got into the stadium, it was another star-studded event. So you obviously had Big Noon Kickoff, which is Fox's pregame show. You had game day, and then you had anybody who was everybody, independent content creator, and so on and so forth. And probably every single media outlet. I've never seen this many media cameras. I'm talking about both ends of the end zone, wrapped around both sidelines. Every single camera, paper, news station, local news station, national news station. It was just ridiculous. And so from a personal standpoint, you had, I seen Tom Brady there, Derek Jeter, Charles Woodson, Rob Gronkowski. It was cool to see Matt Patricia, Tom Brady, and Rob Gronkowski all sort of converge. And Josh Boyer, who's a part of our staff, they all are in New England together. So to see them come together and have their moment. And then you had both teams. Obviously, Sharon Moore is the star of Michigan, and then Ryan Day with us. And then you had Desmond Howard and Kirk Herbstreit and his whole family. And I was sitting there kicking with Kirk Herbstreit and his kids for a while. And then me and Eddie George, prior to the game, we had a chance to sit and chat and talk it up. But my highlight of the day was my man John Lynch. You know what I'm saying? John Lynch is the general manager for the Broncos. And when I was with the Broncos, they used to try to pair me and have me watch John Lynch, right? so John Lynch saw degenerate Maurice Claret. And so before the game, we were laughing about that and just like where we both were at in life now. He's a general manager, obviously, for the 49ers. And for those who don't know, the 49ers is actually a Youngstown, Ohio franchise. The family who owns the 49ers, the Bartlows and the York family, they are all from Youngstown. So we laughed about that and talked about the family who owns them. But from what you like when you grow up and think about sports, when you think about rivalries, when you watch this stuff on TV, for somebody who watched Duke, North Carolina, or I think we talked about that last week, just historic games. As the snow started to come down during the game, it felt like something that was made for TV. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, from an atmosphere standpoint, and I say this with all due respect, much respect to the Michigan fans. Everything that they were supposed to do in regards to root for their people and cheer them on and say, fuck us, that was supposed to happen. But on the flip side of that, I want to thank all of the Ohio State people that came to the game and rooted for us. And then, there we go. Yeah. Even after we were done, man, I'm telling you, by the time I hit that fourth quarter, I was like, fuck this, bro. So it takes a different level of fandom. Now, mind you, we get a chance to go to the locker room at halftime and kind of warm up. But when you out there in the element, you just out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the players get to run around.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're freaking your ass off.
So, but I'm talking about to the fans who stayed for it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And I do want to say this, and I didn't even know how to say this, but man, when you see all of the coaches and all of the time that they put in and just the amount of emotion and focus and everything, man, you really appreciate all those dudes, support staff, dudes, people who put fucking kerosene heaters on the side of the field and people who go on to get gloves and hats and all this other shit. So it's a lot that goes into this from both staffs. And so I know a lot of people's like, fuck Michigan is. I don't really feel that way. I appreciate them for making it a rivalry. I appreciate them for just having experience. And hopefully outside of the game, they feel that way when they come down to Columbus next year. But obviously, we still want to win.
I do want to ask you, watching it on TV, I mean, it really did feel like it was like the game made for TV.
Yeah.
Such an awesome game to watch. And when the snow started coming down, like those will be highlights that people will remember forever. When they would pan out to the stands, I know Scarlet sticks out, so it's easier to pick out Ohio State fans when you kind of pan the crowd, but it looked like there was a significant amount of Ohio State fans in that stadium. But
I bet
inside, when you looked at that,
you felt the same way.
Yeah.
But you started to see Ohio State fans pregame. So pregame, they just didn't have a bunch of people who were at the game. So it was clear to see that your fans were there. So it was either empty stands or the people who had came from Ohio State. And so when you looked up, you're like, shit, it's a lot of people here from Columbus. And now, mind you, it's a 3-hour trip. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, whatever. And then I really felt, and I think what happened with Ryan Day last year, last game of the season to Tennessee game, and everybody see him get beat up. and then for him to go win the national championship, I think a lot of people came to see him get his victory on their field.
Yeah, needed that get back.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a question. Hey, before we get into the X's and O's, I want to know some messy stuff. Like how many? Because this is a rivalry. I want to know how many fights you had to break up, how many face-to-faces you had to come in between and get
that was really,
separate people.
No, that was after the game. So they had so just from what happened last year, as soon as you hit the tunnel, it was probably I want to say at least like 30 police officers.
Oh, they was deep.
Yeah, so it was the highway patrol, it was the local police, and it was the campus police, and they were all lined up in the tunnel. And then Michigan had their own group of people who they put on their side. So when you come out, like, you can't, like, the fucking tunnel only but so big. Yeah. And so you're talking about dudes who fucking 6'5", 6'6", big shoulder pad wearing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and then they also they logistically coordinated. You know, y'all go down at 43 minutes, and then Ohio State comes on at 45. And then as they come off the field, they were making sure that they were communicating stuff like that. But after the and I don't even know if they showed this on TV, but after, like, you kind of knew, like, fuck, we about to win. And so they was like, yo, we need to run you into the middle of the field. I'm like, fuck, like, this guy's like, so, yeah, it was all good. You're there for these kids. And so you really say to yourself, like, I don't want to get fucked up, but I would rather me get fucked up than have one of these kids get into some stupid shit, you know, because I said, look, bro, I'm 42. I just reached that stage. I tell these dudes I'm in unk mode all the time. Ain't shit that I can do with some nigga who's 6'5", shoulder pad, weightlifting motherfucker. I gotta talk peaceful, man. Look, bro, hey, it ain't worth it.
I did see pregame though. There was a Michigan guy walking in the tunnel, bumping against coaches, other players as they was walking down. I don't know if you saw that clip.
No, I didn't see that.
I was looking at that like, oh yeah, this
that's what I want to know. I want to know what kind of mess went on.
So maybe say stuff like that may have happened, but I just didn't see it. But you just have too many guys. Like, just think about this: between 18 and 22, man, your testosterone is through the roof. It's rivalry week, man. When you before that game, I be trying to tell people, bro. When you before that game and you keep on listening to music about you about to go to war with somebody and you about to get active with them, like it's contagious. It makes you aggressive.
What's the real lyrics, Mo?
Nah, I ain't got that. Hey, mama, turn over a new leaf.
Can I ask you another question?
You can ask anything.
All right. What was the temperature in the locker room? Like, what was that like? Take us into the locker room before the game.
I'm going to tell you, I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound like this after the game. But anytime when I step into the locker room and it's a look of seriousness, it ain't a look of like emotion and we about to fuck these dudes up, but like more of like a seriousness. Like we're here to handle business, we focus, and it's a look into a person's eye just to say like, man, there's no emotion to it. It's like I'm seriously about to go out here and handle my business. But I think that was built from what happened last year. Yeah. And so these kids, not like in an emotional way, but like, yo, we coming to get back what was fucking taken from us last year, but we're serious and we've practiced well, we've prepared well, and it was just blaring through the locker room. And so you had all your typical music, you had your same routine, but it was just like, man, we can't wait to get to the field. You felt it. And so as you take your stroll through the locker room and you could just look around. There's no plan. There's nobody on their phone. There's nobody who's, man, let me go and talk to my girl before the game or, you know, let me check the scores. Man, it was none of that. It was like I don't want to say like, okay, best way I can explain it that you'd understand it. It's like when you walk into a compound, into a housing unit, and ain't nobody got to say nothing. And I'm talking about prison for people who don't know. When you walk into a housing unit in prison, ain't nobody talking about nothing, but you can feel the seriousness. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? you can feel it. You can feel the tension in the air. When you walked in that locker room, it wasn't nothing to be said. And then it really starts from your leader. And when I'm talking about, you can see it on Ryan's face the whole week. He a classy dude, but you can look at somebody's face to see where you can see exactly where he's at. You can see how he feel. And if you have any regard or any respect for him, you're going to be like, yo, I want to do it for this dude because I know what it means to him. I know how he's getting beat up. I know how his family got beat up.
Yeah.
And nobody would say it just because people didn't want to become a distraction, but every single coach felt that way, staff member felt that way, player felt that way, fucking support staff felt that way. Every single person there wanted to get that victory for Ryan Day. And that was the collective sentiment.
I think those were good questions. So the interaction between the head coaches at the middle, at the end, were you close by that?
Yeah, so, obviously the game's over, you jog to the middle of the field, and you're trying to say your thank yous and all this other stuff, but both people knew in the midst of doing that, this is kind of like when your fucking players coming on the field, you know what I'm saying? And so our players were instructed to go down to whatever part of the end zone that was towards our fans.
Right.
But then you have some players who just,
I'm sitting around.
They're going to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And so they didn't have any flags. Like, we didn't come to the game with any flags, but they went to the crowd and got flags. And so they wanted to, so that's where the flag came from. They wanted to do what happened to them last year. And so I'm sitting there like, nah, this is just going to turn into another situation, right?
Yeah,
this
bigger brawl.
It turns into a bigger brawl. And so then they had, and people try to make it more than what it is. People try to make Sharon into, it wasn't that. It was, they both came together at the same time. And in the instant, Sharon's watching Ohio State, Ryan's watching Michigan, and they're both trying to say, hey man, let's say our what's ups and our goodbyes, but then you helped to regulate your crowd, I helped to get these crowds, but I was right there in the middle and with other people who was assigned to help to keep the crowds off. But then it come to a point, bro, where we need the fucking police here. You need fucking everybody here because, a couple former players ain't about to regulate all this shit. And then, and both teams know you have kids who are a little bit more aggressive than others. And so you better get them because, you can get one aggressive dude who can break the catalyst, right? Yeah. And before you know it, you have something on your hands. And so I'm like this. I'm fortunate and happy nothing broke out because I didn't want to be in the middle of all that shit. I'm not lying to you. I don't want to get maced, fucked up. I ain't trying to get stamped. I podcast. I'm a content.
And I can respect what Ryan Day said. He said, Sharon, listen, if we don't get these guys out of here, it's going to be a big problem. We're not going to plant an effing flag. And he said, all right, cool.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah, that was on
I didn't hear what he said.
Socials. Yeah, you got to listen to it. But yeah, that's what he said. And I respect him for that. And then, everybody.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, bro, it really ain't about all that. Really is football at the end of the day. And, you have a bunch going on in the world of college sports, right? And there's so much to be said about character and what you instill in kids. And when we talk about this Lane Kiffin situation, I know we're going to get to it, right? But this is a moment to say you won, right? How do you win or how do you go about winning, right? Because it makes you look stupid next year because if it makes you look stupid moving forward, like, yo, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how you should have made kids react. Like when y'all won, there should have been somebody on your staff who had enough decency to say, hey, bro, it's the right way and the wrong way to win. And just do it from a class standpoint. So I like for what Ryan Day did after the game, I felt like that was a bigger middle finger to the whole world. Like, I'm going to go ahead and win the right way.
Class.
Yeah, because
definitely class.
And this is no disrespect because if people watch the game, bro, we could have beat them by a lot more than what we beat them by. You know what I mean? If you go, Will. Yeah, for the most part, man, we dominated. You can say a couple plays here and there that they schemed us right and they broke a couple good plays. But for the most part, bro, from a football standpoint, physically dominated them. And, and they had the 4 years prior to that. You can't take that away. But for what we did last week, it was like, okay, we won that. And then we'll have to see them next year. And I'm pretty sure they'll come back with a vengeance and they'll want to do the same thing in our place. But, I feel like this. What he did after the game, even in that interview, made me respect him more. But to your point, you have to regulate that midfield stuff just because. I mean, you know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I remember being there last year, and what you had to do and how it all broke out and how the cops and everything got involved. But that was a great recap of the game and giving us that inside from the locker room all the way to the field to the end of the game. I think that was great.
Hey, can I be honest?
What's up?
I wanted to see some mess. I wanted to see some fighting. I wanted to see some grabbing face masks. I wanted to see some flag planting. That's what the rivalry is supposed to be about, man. That's what but that's just me. I just wanted to say, I get it.
Maybe I want to see if I wasn't there.
Right, you're right. But, I salute the guys, but, man, I wanted to see.
No, but the point is, this is what makes it, though. Like, You part of the crowd that goes like this.
That's what we do. Hey, listen, we had the barbershop. I had to, you know how many meat chicken people came in there? I had to argue with. I had to debate with.
Meat chicken.
I had Sharon Moore is the best coach and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I got to go through all these arguments. And it was just not, I didn't get out of there until late because I had to do all this debating. People want Ryan Day fired if he don't win this game. I'm like, man, so at the end of the day, I want to see a couple of the meat chicken dudes get slammed on the ground. You know, I want to see some scuffles in the crowd. That's just me. I just like that type of energy.
But it could have happened though. Well, the stuff didn't happen on the field because it was a lot of people out there, you know, who tried to prevent it. But man, I'm telling you, I didn't want to be in the middle of that shit. No, listen, when you're in your 40s, listen to me, 40s after a cold game after 2 hours.
That's why I said I want to see it.
I'll tell you, you got a ton of credit to the players, obviously, and coaches who prepped them to get there. I think Ryan Day, the post game, what he said to Sharon Moore, you know, we're not going to plant a flag. I thought that showed a lot of class. I think his post game interview on the field when they asked him, you know, what do you want to say, you know, after, you know, losing 4 in a row. I don't know what's going on in his head at that time, but I'll bet you, or at least if it were me, 100% I would have wanted to thrash and lash out at, not at Michigan, not at Sharon Moore, not at the Michigan players, at the Ohio State fan base.
Absolutely.
And to me, this dude has class. And Columbus, Ohio is so lucky to have that man and that family here in Columbus.
For sure.
I think there's a good number of quality coaches that would have just left after last year, win the national championship, and go somewhere with
appreciate it.
with a somewhat normal fan base, not a fanatical fan base, a normal fan base. But for them to stay here and the rebrand himself the way he is right now, this dude is the best coach in college football. Period. And you still have delusional. I don't know your friends at the barbershop.
Yeah.
For Ohio State fans to still be, these are Ohio State fans that are saying he should be fired.
There was a couple Ohio State so-called fans.
Maybe you're right. Maybe Ohio State fans are delusional. Well, maybe you're right, because that to me is insane.
It's completely insane. But what it was based out of was the rivalry versus national titles, and I'm just like, man, Ryan Day is the guy.
There were some other big games this weekend that we want to talk about. So let's talk about in the SEC. Texas A&M goes undefeated. Texas A&M goes on the road into Texas. And I think everybody thought Texas A&M was going to take care of business. And we did have one member of the squad that felt otherwise. So go ahead, Alex.
Y'all know what I just said. Me either. But no, man, that was my emotional pick. I wanted to see Texas go out there and beat Texas A&M for one reason only, for my Ole Miss Rebels to have a chance to get into the SEC championship, which still didn't happen. But nonetheless, you know, when you look at the stats between both of those guys, both of them teams, it was pretty even. You know, from third down conversions, passing yards. I want to say Texas had more rushing yards. Time of possession actually went to Texas A&M, but they still ended up losing the game. The guy Reed threw 2 picks. He was only running the ball. I want to say he might have been first or second leading rusher for them. Every time I heard a highlight, it was him running. That defense that Texas has, legit, and we already knew that.
Yeah, 100%.
So I was glad that they won. I think you had text in the thread that I guess, you know, what's his name? Manning isn't so bad. You know,
he's not.
And he didn't play great. He was like 14 for, you know, over something, you know, maybe close to 30 passes, but he was poised. He ran when he needed to, and you know, he got the job done. So thank you, Arch. I was talking smack about you earlier this year. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ole Miss did not get into the SEC championship, but we still going to the playoffs.
Well, plenty to talk about when it comes to Ole Miss here in a minute. Obviously with Lane Kiffin, but I don't know. Anybody else watch the game Friday night? Any other thoughts? Or
I'm just more. I'm happy for Arch. I know he's been going through it all season. I know this was a huge game for him. I seen his pops out in the stands all riled up. I thought you were about to say he
came to the barbershop. I was like, damn, Jeremy.
Oh nah. But you know, I was on the Arch train earlier. Pause. And then but I had to jump off the daggone train because stuff was going left. So anyway, pause that whole conversation. Yeah. But anyway, it was good to see him back playing good. I thought he really energized the crowd with that big run he had. Mm-hmm. I think that was just like a statement run for him. You know what I mean? Kudos to Texas. They handled their business. That's all I really got for that.
Texas A&M been on the ropes a couple times this year, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've been on the ropes. And do you guys remember, it was last week I had made the comment that A&M, although undefeated, they had beat up on some Sisters of the Poor at a conference and on the bottom half of the SEC.
Parlay right.
And I don't know why when we were, betting on Friday or talking about our picks, and I don't know why that red light didn't go off in my head and say, what are you doing with Texas A&M? Like they are, to me, they're a bit of a fraud and a bit of a one-dimensional team with Reed. And I regret that pick. Easy to say here Monday morning, but I regret that pick.
But the reason I look different, I seen them. I didn't see them a lot this year, but I seen them when they beat Notre Dame. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it was
second game of the season.
But it was at Notre Dame. So I was like, they beat Notre Dame. I thought they were a good team. And then, obviously we play at the same time, so you see a bunch of highlights. And, I still think they're a good team, but my choosing them was me seeing Texas and didn't think that Arch Manning and Texas was enough. I knew Texas had a good defense, but I was thinking to myself, there's no way that Arch Manning is going to go ahead and basically be able to pull this off. And so one thing I will say about that, just like the Iron Bowl and all these other bowls, rivalries do matter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it really comes down to if you don't believe anything else, I think the atmosphere for most of these kids, they get up to play these games. You know what I'm saying? And so when you looked at that game on TV, so like we had just finished the team dinner, and so we were in Michigan in a hotel, and I just was like, it's not a lot of times you can just sit down in a hotel and just watch a football game. And so I was watching it. You just seeing guys playing hard and the crowd into it and just all these things that make college football. And so I don't know, great atmosphere. I really didn't expect Texas to win. I thought that, with the situation being Texas A&M, they're number 3 before.
Yes.
Yes, they're number 3. So I was like, there's no way that they're going to drop this one before the playoffs, and they end up dropping it, and hopefully it does something for them, but I don't know if this is enough to even put Texas in the playoffs though.
I do have a question for you. This is still football related, talking about rivalries. And who was Warren Harding's rivalry? I never knew who it was.
In short, it was just either when we played Mooney or Ursuline. Okay. Y'all were our rivalries, SVC teams.
Okay,
yeah.
I got you. Okay.
So there were plenty of rivalry games. There was obviously the Iron Bowl, and then we have the state of Tennessee where you have Vandy going on the road to play.
What is that rivalry called? Or is it a rivalry? I mean, it's a rivalry, but
it's an in-state rivalry. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it has a game, an axe. I don't know a plaque, what they pass around.
Is it a new? And I'm asking. So I always thought that Kentucky. I know Kentucky plays Louisville as their but I always vision Kentucky and Tennessee as like more of a rival than Vanderbilt, Tennessee. And I was about to ask, is that something new? Yeah, now that Vanderbilt is relevant again.
Yes. I mean, they showed some interesting stats when the game started. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say it had been like 50 years since Vandy and Tennessee were both ranked when they played each other. Wow. If that could be possible.
This is the point I'm making, yes.
That's what makes Ohio State, Michigan the game. Yeah. And
because they're both.
This is like a whole other episode, and that's what makes, to me, although the Iron Bowl, it is Alabama, it's in-state. Like I know that has significance, but if you look at the number of times those two teams have played, they've played 90 times. And I want to say it's like 20 times both teams have been ranked. Mm-hmm. Ohio State, Michigan have played 120 times.
Yeah.
And the times that they have both been ranked, I don't know the number. I want to say it's like 90 or 100. I mean, it's something crazy. The times that they've played each other in the top 5.
I'm about to look it up while you talk. Go ahead.
In the last 20 years is insane.
Insane.
So, I get it. They're not in the same state, but.
Mm-hmm. To answer that question about Vanderbilt and Tennessee, it says it does not have an official name, but it's sometimes called the I-40 Bowl or the Smoky Mountain Bowl. So, they just, depending on the year, they call it what they want.
Depending on how they feel. Huh?
Yeah. So Vanderbilt, right, gets on I-40, and they head towards Knoxville to play against the University of Tennessee. Uh-huh. If you guys remember, early in the season, remember what Diego Pavia said? We run Tennessee. We are Tennessee, right? And so I thinking, let's see it, right? Put your money where your mouth is. And he goes out. He didn't have statistically passing the greatest game, but he ran the ball. Yeah. And man, Vandy looked pretty good.
Yes, they did.
So I don't know what happens with the college football playoff and where Vandy lands in or out. I don't think it looks good. But I think their last meaningful game of the season prior to a bowl, Diego Pavia went out with a statement. And right now he's third in the Heisman odds.
165 yards rushing as a quarterback, with a tug. That's legit, And it was one of those situations where I was asleep, I'm a night shifter. And every time I heard it, it was Pavia again. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, he running the ball. And he was just getting busy. He had that mentality that we are not losing this. I'm backing up my statement of we run Tennessee. And that's exactly what he did. So I liked watching him play. And so who's number 1 and 2 when it comes to the Heisman?
Sayin
and
number 1.
Simpson?
No.
Ty?
Indiana kid.
Yeah.
Mendoza. Francisco
He
Mendoza.
number 2 now?
No, Mendoza's 1 at plus 125.
Yeah.
Sayin is 2 at plus 130.
Come on.
Hey, Mo, how you feel?
I don't believe that one.
I know we'll get to it later. Just real quick. You got the 2 guys who are playing in the championship, the Big Ten. Who do you think? Do you think this determines who wins the Heisman?
I think it's going to weigh heavy into it. I think that both of their performers, because nobody cares. Because this is what they'll say. Nobody cares what you did against all of these other teams.
Yeah,
they care what did you do when it actually mattered and it was all in the line. And if either guy goes out and have a hell of a performance, we have to think like this. We have the number 1 defense in the country. You know what I'm saying? And so they'll want to see how he perform against the number 1 defense in the country. And I don't know where Indiana ranks in regards to defense, but I'm pretty sure they'll also, if they're the number 2 team, that means you have to be within the top 10 in one of the statistical categories.
Got you.
So as much as they can say the whole season matters, I think when it comes down to people who judge you, people don't give a fuck until this time of the year.
Yeah.
Well, and the next in line, I guess, third best odds would be, or fourth best odds. So it's Mendoza, Sayin, Pavia,
and Jeremiah.
And then Jeremiah Love, who
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah. Jeremiah Love,
who is done for the season.
No, he didn't get hurt again.
No. I'm saying, they don't have a conference championship.
They don't have anything.
So everybody else would literally have to trip over themselves, right, for him to have a chance. So it's really now a 3-man race. But wouldn't Pavia be done for the season too?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
So I'm telling you, one of these, it would be, you'd have to think of some crazy scenario where Ohio State wins, but Mendoza throws for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns without a pick, right? And Sayin has a mediocre game. That's the only way Mendoza or Sayin can win without winning the game.
But I think people, regardless of performance, I think you just view things different when people win.
Yep.
Yes.
I just don't think that
the head-to-head matchup.
No, I just like this. It's tough. Who fights just randomly? I don't know who I was trying to draw. Who won the Heisman last year?
Why do you always ask questions you don't know the answer to?
Because I don't know.
I'm trying to think, man. It's
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. That is right.
Okay. And
that's terrible.
Okay, yes. Travis Hunter won last year, but we could have argued that the kid for Boise State was the best player in the country.
Yeah.
Ashton Jeanty.
But since they lost, right, and they gave it to Travis. Travis rightfully earned it. He was a dynamic player, and I think just the dynamic ability to play offensive defense did it all. And I will say this: I think the marketing of Prime helped just raise awareness in regards to who he is on a shitty team.
Yes.
But it's the same thing. But Ashton Jeanty, for all intents and purposes, should have won the Heisman. You know what I mean? But when you play on a shitty team or you lose, it just skews how people view you.
I agree.
Hey, Parlay Jenkins. Since you the man, who's your early pick for the Heisman?
Come on, Parlay.
Come on, Parlay. It's going to be Sayin, but I wish I would have gone Sayin 8 weeks ago.
I got you.
Now at plus 130, just bet on. You could bet on the game, Ohio State with Michigan, or I'm sorry, Ohio State with Indiana. That bet should correlate to who you think is going to win the Heisman.
Okay, I got another one for you, Parlay. Pavia's brother get arrested again before the end of the season.
Well, let's talk about that. So Vandy and Diego Pavia winning on the field. I think his family was kind of losing in the stands. Right? So brother gets arrested for public intoxication. Second time of the season. And then I just read this morning his dad may have also either been arrested or escorted out of the stadium. So
His dad got arrested.
This felt like
I ain't like this though.
this felt an awful lot like Patrick Mahomes to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly what I thought.
With his what's his
dad,
goofball brother's name?
Brother, yeah, and
No,
his dad.
no, his dad. That's his dad.
Oh, and his
His
dad.
brother, and his brother.
I
both
was
of
just
them.
thinking the brother.
brother.
No,
Wild
no,
Coyote
it's
too.
equally as
That's
Pavia Mahomes.
But that's my point. What's the biggest difference? You're talking about
Well,
Pavia and
Mahomes.
maybe one of the greatest,
Yeah.
or could be the greatest to ever do it. So I don't know.
Oh,
It
no, let me
feels
ask you
kind of
this.
weird.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to Google this. Where did they play at?
At Tennessee.
yeah.
Oh, it was at,
that's
so
at
okay. So this is a little dickhead behavior by the cops, right? Come on,
Go
man.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to
this
throw on my professional shit when you say your point.
This is the second time getting arrested, though.
Yes.
No, but I thought this was at Vanderbilt. Initially, I thought this was at Vanderbilt. I'm like, you can't arrest his brother, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming this is Tennessee's way. Motherfucker, come here. That's what I was saying. Like, come on, motherfucker. You know, like the dude in the tunnel who was the
Oh, yeah, Texas
Texas
A&M.
Texas A&M, give you a little shove, motherfucker. And disrespectfully, I wasn't dogging police officers, man. I wasn't.
I got you.
This is just me. Like, come on, man. You can't. First of all, I've got DUIs before, so you shouldn't be. Okay, let me say. All right,
He was drunk,
Okay,
though. He was
let me
wasted.
check my computer. How many people could you really arrest at a football game for
whole
public
lot.
intoxication?
Many.
You can put up 50 paddy wagons in the
Yeah,
rest.
but he was in this. They were holding up flags so
Tell
they
him
could
parlay.
see.
What was he doing? Okay,
Yeah, he was sitting on the railing in the front row, the only person sitting on the railing in the front
Okay,
row.
so you said it's justified.
Excessively been asked to step down, stand where
Okay,
you're supposed
Yes.
to.
He
Yeah.
cussed him
Lawful
out.
order.
He cussed the
Hey,
cops out.
all right.
Hey,
Gotta go to jail.
lawful orders. You got the flag, forget you, F you, whatever it is.
Yeah,
you
he cussed
said.
him out.
So I'm going to throw you in a scenario real quick, Mo.
No, you gave me the fact. So I'm not one of those people who wrong, and I just like, hey, listen to me. Once somebody give me the, all right, you got to go to jail.
I still want to give you a scenario. All right.
So before you said he deserved to go to jail,
You know.
but I didn't have all the facts, and I thought this what I initially thought. Just so we can clarify, I thought he got arrested in Vanderbilt. I was like, how the fuck you arrest
Yeah.
your quarterback's brother at Vanderbilt? You got to like put him to the side and let him sleep a drunkenness off, right? But go ahead.
All right, here's the scenario. You at work, you get a call, you got two underage guys, right? This past 3 o'clock curfew's going on there, all crazy stuff going on the south side. You know how that
3
goes.
a.m..
3 a.m.
Okay.
All right, you see these two teens, and then you say, man, call your mom, have them come pick you up. All right, the mom comes to pick up one kid, the other kid refuses to leave. Man, you got to go or you going to jail. He's just
You
turned 18.
trying to help him out.
Trying to help him out. You got to go or you going to jail. I'm not going anywhere. I live down the street. Okay, please, well, go ahead. Go home then. He doesn't go home. You know what he does? He goes and sit right in front of the cruiser and crosses his legs and says, I ain't going nowhere.
going
What
to
do you do?
jail.
You going to jail.
You going to jail.
You going to jail. You going to jail.
You going to jail. So like this, I've broken laws, and then you get to a stage, you be like, look, I understand why I go to jail sometimes. You're going to jail with that situation. I was up under depression. I said, first of all, I thought that I'll say it again. I thought that they were at Vanderbilt, and I was like, how the fuck do you arrest your star quarterback's brother? Like, it ain't enough people around just to shift this motherfucker to the side. And then I said, he got arrested at Tennessee. I said, they hated him. And then y'all said all this other shit. I was like, yeah, this motherfucker deserves to go to jail. So I just want to be clear. But I will say, how many people can really get arrested at a football game?
A lot.
You could probably arrest
Thousands.
Thousands, right? But,
All of them.
But that's a different story.
All right. So the hot topic right now in college football is Lane Kiffin. So, I think I'd love to hear everybody's uninfluenced opinion on this, like the situation. You can you say what you would have done or what he did right, what he did wrong. But I know you have some personal connection with Ole Miss and are pulling for Ole Miss and have been all year.
Yeah.
So I'd start with you. Love to hear your perspective.
All right. I think it's tough for the athletes, and that's what I feel for. You get a coach who, leads you to that position at 10-1 or what is it, 11-1 now? And now he's gone. It's like, now what do they do? Who do they look for? Who's their new leader? And I wanted those guys to be successful. I wanted them to make the SEC, but they're going to go to the playoffs, but they don't have their leader who took them there the whole time. So you get some coach that comes in who's probably already on staff. Does he keep that same tone with the athletes, or does he switch it up like, you know what, he didn't believe in us, he left us? And, those are things that I think about because I want them to do well. So I've been through 3 coaching changes when I was in high school and 2 in college. So going through a coaching change in the middle of the season, that's a lot. Especially when you are winning. Who's to say that Lane wasn't in, the ear of some of these athletes when things start going wrong? now they don't have that voice.
Yeah.
And so when I think about that and him leaving, I feel for the athletes. But when you're doing it for the cash or just for a bigger organization and just trying to make that same impact, he built Ole Miss, right? He wants to go and try to rebuild LSU back, and I respect that. But for me, on my side, I just think I just feel for the athletes.
Reese, what do you think? Germ?
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to ask, like, is that a thing with the coaches, like with players? Does that really affect them that much when a coach says, "Hey, I'm out of here. I got a bigger chance." It does.
Yeah, no. So I said like this: your head guy hides a lot of deficiencies that assistants probably have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it just the way he thinks through the game, the way he manages the game, the way he call plays, the way that he could influence the defensive guys on how to call plays and how to prepare for the game, how you lead the team through practice. And when you have somebody who's never really had their hands on that steering wheel, you're asking somebody who's never driven a car in that scenario, in that situation, to now drive a car when the stakes are through the roof. You know what I'm saying? When they super high. That's what I can see. Go ahead.
No. Okay, so with my opinion on it, I think in today's game, the way that the players can hit the portal, coaches can leave, I just think is more of an understanding on both sides. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot more players nowadays get it. They're like, hey, look, this dude's getting 91 million, I think is the
7 years, 12 million, something like that.
Oh, it's 7 years, 12 million. I thought I heard more than that. But anyway, my fault. But they're getting it. I think there's more of an understanding like, hey, this guy's going to move up and go to another opportunity that's, that's going to cash him out and probably be a bigger chance to win a title, right? I think players understand that as well as coaches understand when players are saying, hey, I'm going to move on because – yeah, I'm going to move on from my NIL. I can get more money over here, or I got a better opportunity to start over here. I just think that this era right now that we're in is a little different than back in the day where that would be like, whoa, what?
1,000%.
Yeah,
But I think it's two different things where Alex was talking about, just like the performance part is one thing where you'll be affected by your leader. But then I also agree with what you're saying. They do get it because I'm in the locker room with them, right?
Yeah.
And when they're trying to go to another school, they're going because they can get paid more, and people don't take into consideration that everybody's not going pro. But these kids understand it. Mm-hmm. These kids aren't dumb. These kids 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, they know like for the next 4 years, I could be a great guy for BYU or I could be a great guy for Syracuse. And I could make a ton of money, but I'm not going to the NFL to go make $10 million like somebody else, right?
Right.
But for the coaches too, the coaches also know, right? You have, like, this is what I say. I don't blame Lane Kiffin. I think the media and people who deal in a sensible world and people who deal with a lot more opportunities, right? College football, you have finite opportunities, right? There's only so many premier jobs that are open, right?
Exactly.
And I look at Lane Kiffin and say, like, you can sit here and play Monday morning quarterback and say, he could have did this, should have did that, whatever. And I go back and I say, is there a right way to leave? Like, is there a right way to divorce somebody and your kids, right? Is there a right time to do anything? I can't say that there is. Like, hey, Brian, go ahead and divorce your wife and leave your kids. Like, when was the most convenient time to do that? What is the right way to do it? There is no time.
When have we been like, okay, you get a better opportunity with more pay at a job. People are, I'm out of here. 2 week notice. Wow, I'm out of here. It's the same concept.
You can go downstairs, and if there is somebody who got paid significantly more money,
they out
in an environment that they think is better than the current environment that they're in, and that's not them being selfish. It's just them being selfish and having self-interest are two different things. But he's also the same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. The same theatrical thing that come to the sip, welcome to the sip, or whatever he was doing, he was playing on social media.
Yeah.
They didn't mind when he trolled other people. They didn't mind when he was driving a Rolls Royce and putting recruits in the background, right?
Right.
Ole Miss didn't mind doing that, right? they love the theater, they love the attention because it brought attention and players and notoriety. Yeah. He just used the same thing against them. You know what I'm saying? And when the media got out there and they start putting his face in the front and he became the cool guy and he became the whore that everybody wanted. And I'm not calling him a whore. I see he's stepping to people, so I don't need Lane Kiffin to step into me, right? So that's what he did, bro. And you can't really be mad. My opinion is you can't be mad at it, right? You can say it's tasteless or whatever you want to, but
you know what? I'm sorry, but too, it's you got to think about getting your guys in the building. You know, like the portal gonna be when does that end? January, right? And then February you got National Signing Day, is it or whatnot? February. When is the National Signing Day? February, exactly. So he had to go to LSU and go ahead and get everything rolling. You know what I mean? Like
that's a good point, and Brian. I want to ask you, the NCAA, I think, kind of screws the athletes when it comes to, hey, you have to make a decision by this time. Like, how come they don't give Lane Kiffin an opportunity to finish out what he started?
I think that's what everybody's saying today.
The schedule
everybody's saying, yes, it's because we've addressed the player movement, but nobody has addressed the coaching movement.
Right.
And, yeah, you're right, Alex. Like, the players are getting screwed. I hope the defensive coordinator, is it Golding, whatever his name is, I hope he comes in and uses this as a rallying cry. Because through adversity, you can really become an unbelievable leader.
Yeah.
And you can use this to build some momentum into the playoffs. I hope he does that. And I actually wasn't an Ole Miss fan. Now I am. I'm actually rooting for them in the playoffs. I hope these kids can rally around their new coach, right, in their new environment and go do something great. I'm not mad at Lane Kiffin. I don't actually blame Lane Kiffin at all for taking this opportunity. If it's better for him and it's better for his family, you got to go. Yeah. But like in life, I mean, I've made this mistake personally, not in sports, but in my professional career, where I've chased money and I've left the wrong way, and I still think about that. Now the difference is I was 27 years old and I absolutely left the wrong way, and I still think about that all the time. There actually is a right way to leave, and it's called not putting yourself first. Yeah. You took 6 years of equity with Ole Miss, and you just napalmed the shit out of it. All that equity you had with that fan base is gone. All that equity you had with all the people on X or Twitter and social media that you had built up this following, it's gone. Because Lane Kiffin is who Lane Kiffin's always been.
So let me ask you this. So what considering the circumstances, take everything.
I'd have been honest the entire way. If you're looking at the LSU job, Lane Kiffin didn't pray Friday night. He didn't sit down and pray, and Jesus responds with, "Yeah, I'd fuck Ole Miss." That didn't happen. Lane Kiffin's full of shit. Lane Kiffin's full of shit.
He did say that. No, he said, "God."
He didn't get clarity until Friday night. No, Lane Kiffin knew what he was doing.
But okay, so you say be honest the entire time, but does he end up in the same place?
He ends up in the same place, but what he does is he puts Ole Miss in a position where you've got this guy hanging on, and he's a huge distraction. He could have been at Ole Miss 2-3 weeks ago. But
you mean he could have been at LSU 2-3?
Sorry, at LSU 2-3 weeks ago. Yes.
You're saying that you would have rather he vacated LSU or Ole Miss earlier.
Just say what you're going to do. Don't make this a big circus that's all about yourself and all about me and what I'm going to do, and do this LeBron the decision episode.
But I think that feeds into the point that I'm making is, and I probably didn't make a good point of it. That's why I do podcasting and not TV, right? Because I'm learning how to make my points better, right? So that's essentially what I'm saying. I think that feeds into him and who he is, and I think he likes all of that shit.
Yes, he is a very much me first person. Yeah,
but I think that this is how I make my celebrity. I don't want to be Ryan Day. I don't want to be Kirby Smart. I want to be the opposite of these college coaches who are
likes to be the villain sometimes.
Correct.
No, he doesn't. He's trying to be the most liked man in America, and he just burn it all down.
That's a villain.
I don't agree with that. I agree with he likes to be. I think when he looks at Saban, he looks at Kirby Smart, he looks at Signetti, he looks at Ryan Day. Those guys come from sensible trees, right? I think he fits up under like the Urban Meyer mentality, where I want to be this different thing.
But still be successful.
Still be successful. I don't know what that's called, but that's just how I view it. We don't, and I'm not arguing that your way is wrong.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that yours is right or wrong either. I think if I'm a coach in the SEC, what he just did and how he left Ole Miss opens up the opportunity to go into some of these living rooms and talk to some of the parents. Because, do they have NIL money? Like Alabama has money, Georgia has money, Florida has money, Miami has money. They all have money. And I don't necessarily come to believe that LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana has the most or has more. They all have money. But I think when you have a coach who has some credibility and some respect, that's what I'm using in the living room with these parents.
How many guys does he get from Ole Miss to come to LSU?
The way the players were talking, on social media, I don't know. It didn't feel like a lot to me.
Oh, I can bet you. I guarantee he gets them. Hey, so I think you're talking from a sensible, responsible adult standpoint, right? A lot of these players, bro, and I hate to say it, it is how much are you going to give me?
Yeah.
And we'll bend our thinking to how you thought to get there.
And you could win. So they got a chance to go to LSU.
They're 11-1.
I'm talking about win at a higher level. They wasn't even going. Are
SEC?
You think they're going to win the championship?
Can we have a real?
I don't think so.
Can we have a real conversation?
What has LSU done without 2019 Joe Burrow?
But how many people want to be in Mississippi versus Louisiana?
Maurice,
get them parlay.
We're not talking about Miami versus
but just people,
Oxford. We're talking about Baton Rouge.
Yes, okay. But
an hour and a half away from New Orleans.
Turn up.
Yes, but it's the hood, right?
No, I'm saying what you're saying one's better than the other?
More people would rather play college football in Louisiana than they would Mississippi. Yeah, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
I don't, but I think you're referring to it. I thought it was like a destination.
No, not the aesthetic, right? So Baton Rouge is the hood, right? I've been.
No, you said that. I didn't say that. Just to be clear,
right? Well, Boosie, NBA young boy, Kevin Gates. I just know the nigga part of Baton Rouge. So it's the hood, right? And what I said it, Brian didn't say it. And y'all can still invite me back down. I'll come to your games. They listen to me. I've been out of every single school in the country. I've been to LSU more than anywhere. I've been to the basketball program twice, and I've been to the football program 3 times. So LSU loves me, right? But I'm also telling the truth that more kids, when you think about the esteem, the prestige, or just the brand, more people want to go play football at LSU than they want to do Mississippi or Mississippi State or Ole Miss. And that's no shit talking either of those schools. I just think that when you look at top tier teams in the SEC, you don't mention Ole Miss and you don't mention Mississippi State historically.
I don't disagree with that. But Jeremy said if you want to win, and I'm saying like
the big games. That's what it is.
The big games. 11-1.
The chip.
But okay, so when you want to go down in the history books as a school that you're putting in work with or a school that you handling business with, you want your brand and you want your thing to end up with LSU. I won a national championship at LSU. That's what he wants to say.
Yeah. What would you go?
I get what you're saying, actually.
Yeah.
When you say win a big game with LSU, it just sounds better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he's been winning,
he's been winning regular season.
But you also, when we talk about Notre Dame and Miami, just because of the name, they may get put into the playoffs.
But let me ask you this: why then would he go to LSU? Why would he go?
He feels he has a better chance to win. 100%.
That's what I'm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many people saying he should have.
More cash.
He should. Well, Ole Miss would have offered it, so he would have made the same amount of money had he stayed.
I agree.
Think so?
He did it.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, that's public. Like that's been said 100 times. He actually said that. Ole Miss will match my pay. So he didn't leave for more money. He left because he did think he had a better chance to win.
For Ole Miss.
And because he thought that the NIL money would be greater and it's easier to recruit at LSU.
Yes.
And again, I don't fault him for going. I would go. I would leave Ole Miss and go. Yeah. I'm just saying I feel like given the opportunity in that situation, I think just somebody with a little higher character would have done it better.
I don't think he's going to be stepping to too many people like he did Mississippi, though. He stepped to a lot of people in Mississippi. He ain't gonna do that in Baton Rouge.
So he wouldn't have he wouldn't have caught hell behind leaving earlier.
I was arguing that he was gonna end up in the same place
regardless.
That's what I'm saying. Like my point at the beginning was there's he was going to end up at that place regardless. And I kept on saying,
in the poaching of the staff, I just feel that to me is.
They made their own decision.
No, but I think
that's a big middle finger at his players, at his fan base, at the university.
But I think the poaching of the staff got nasty when they got nasty with him. I think that he said, if you're not on that plane, so are you familiar with this? Or you?
Yeah, but he already said he didn't do that. He said they did an interview with Lane Kiffin, and you guys could look it up. And he said, I did not do any of that stuff that they're trying to spread this narrative that I just was pulling in assistants and everything and the coaching staff. He said, I didn't do any of that.
Oh, okay. So I won't put that on him. So, we'll never know. Well, I'm with you, Lane. Sometimes the situation is just fucked up. And it just is what it is. But I'm with Lane Kiffin. I'm with players when they move on and if they want more money. I'm cool with all this other shit, and whatever your vantage point is in the situation, you just end up in bad situation. I'm going to tell you like this. Sometimes I don't like it, but it just that's just my that's my perspective on that individual situation.
Can we all agree on one thing?
What?
NCAA has got to figure out how to fix this in the future.
I agree.
Brian,
I agree.
The foundation of all these fuck-ups are because the NCAA didn't do anything for years.
Yeah.
The reason my football career didn't pan out at Ohio State was because NCAA didn't adjust rules to the circumstances.
Yeah.
The only reason that the NCAA actually did anything, really what they can actually thank is Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom and then the governor for Tennessee and then DeSantis and everybody who started enacting things literally started all this. And so it wasn't driven by the NCAA. So even right now, the NCAA is inheriting a bunch of shit that they didn't want to fix. And so then now what happens? For the next decade, they'll be reacting to things that took place versus let's sit down in a room and let's make this thing equitable and fair. The reason that this whole thing will never be equitable and fair is for one reason. They don't want to call people employees. That's why this thing will forever be disjointed. We'll always have these conversations and whatever.
But that's on the player side. I'm saying on the coach's side.
They could have figured the coaching thing out.
They got to figure out, like the NFL. Like you're not interviewing in the middle of the season. This doesn't happen in the NFL. So you adjust the schedule to fit the movement of coaches and staff and players.
So let me ask you this. So how long do you think they know about that?
Say that again.
That they don't have the coaching thing figured out. Do you think that this just happened to them?
No, I mean, it's been happening for years.
Yeah, so like we have intelligent people. Sometimes we call athletes idiots, right? You will say, oh, this athlete does dumb shit. This coach does dumb shit. So what is it like? And the only reason that we talk about this is because you don't put a name with who the NCAA is. All you got to do is go to NCAA and just look at who the board of trustees are, and you'll start to see this from well-educated, stupid people. Just think about this, right? These are the only reason that you can hide if we can call keyboard warriors, but some of these people choose to do nothing and allow you to deal with the circumstances of me choosing to do nothing. And so that's ignorance on you when you know better that you could have stopped this. Imagine you are with the NCAA and you're sitting here and knowing that I have the power with my collective group of people. We could have stopped this, but you let the whole world beat Brian up because Brian made a decision about his future, considering the circumstances. So I know we way past this, and I don't want to forget this, but Your Highness has beat Michigan this week. I don't want to forget that, Will.
Go Bucks.
Yeah. Look, you thought with all this whole fucking deep therapeutic talk that y'all was off the hook. Look, hey, my back actually hurt because let me tell you. Look, so I'm gonna tell you what. Yeah, pause. Right. I'm gonna tell you what happened to my back. Right. So I was cheering for the whole fucking game, and then y'all put a hex on us. And we got, look. So what happened was we was 4 hours on the bus, and then we were 4 hours at this little janky ass airport, right? Yeah, so we was at a little janky ass airport where you can only clear the runway every 2 hours. I was like, the fuck, man. Hey. And so 8 hours, I actually stood up, or not stood up. I actually sat down after standing for a whole game and cheering. I actually sat down on a bus for 4 hours and then in a fucking plane for 4 hours before we took off. So, yeah, that was your hex on us, right? So. With that being said, thank y'all for joining us today. Every day, 3 p.m., we are on the network, and then every Sunday, our Sunday show is 6 a.m. So be sure to tune in, and if y'all can do us any favor, take some of the clips from our shows that y'all like and actually share it, and we would definitely appreciate that. We are on the Start With The Facts Instagram. If you like us on TikTok, you'll see us there. So with that being said, thank you for coming to the studio today, Will. Honorable, right? But that fucking raggedy ass hat gone. I know that. So we'll check y'all tomorrow.
We go.